What if I told you that sports betting was so easy that we literally programmed a robot to bet on sports and be up almost $14,000 over the course of a couple months sports betting? That's exactly what OddsJam accomplished. So in this video, I'm going to detail exactly what I'm talking about and the process that went behind it. But OddsJam literally got a robot programmed to place bets over a couple month span. And like I said, up $14,000. Now for me, my name is Matt Modi. I'm a content producer and betting analyst for OddsJam. If you want to find me on social media, you can at Jedi Modi. And I can chat, and let's get into the specifics. So there's a couple things to keep in mind when it comes to kind of the process behind everything. A couple points to make. Number one, the state used in this example was New York. So every bet was placed from a legally regulated sportsbook in New York. So that's number one. Number two, the bankroll was used at $5,000, set at a Kelly multiplier of 0.5. Now, if you're new to sports betting and you don't understand what any of that stuff means, your bankroll is essentially how much money you have to dedicate towards sports betting. So on a given night, this robot had $5,000 to play with. Using the Kelly criterion method, which is basically a mathematical formula that spits out an actual dollar figure of what you should place on a bet, it takes into account the odds of the bet you're placing, takes into account the percent chance that bet has of winning based on the edge calculated by OddsJam. And then, of course, is based on your bankroll as well, which, again, $5,000. So in this case was $5,000. And then the Kelly multiplier being set at 0.5. I would recommend looking into the Kelly criterion method. There's an article on the OddsJam website detailing it. There's also a video on the OddsJam YouTube channel detailing it. All you need to know is that in terms of the Kelly multiplier, 0.5 is the recommended settings for your Kelly multiplier. And then the last thing that I want to mention is that the bets were placed using OddsJam, using the positive expected value page, using the recommended filters, and also placing bets that had an edge at 2% and above at that given moment in time. So to recap, the state was New York. The bankroll was set at $5,000 using a Kelly criterion method of 0.5, and the bets were taken from the OddsJam positive EV page using the recommended filters with an edge of 2% and above. But there are a lot of lessons to glean from this robot and the testing that OddsJam did with the robot placing bets. Number one, and I think this is the most important thing, you can literally blindly bet on sports using OddsJam and profit. You know, there are a lot of people nowadays that are sports betting as almost like a side gig, using it as an investment opportunity. And OddsJam can literally provide that for you using OddsJam, using the positive expected value page. But the easiest way to talk about this would be to share my screen and show you exactly what happened. So let's get into it. So here is the screen of the bet tracker from this robot. So in terms of the time frame, I'm recording this in February. So this test ran from November, December, January, obviously all the way through February, the month we are in now. And as we can see, the total profit is $13,700, all bets placed using OddsJam. Now here is the month of February. And I will say this link, you can actually access this bet tracker if you want to. The link is in the description of the video. It's also running for other states, but the date that it started was February 23rd. So there's not as much of a time frame, but just to show you, for Virginia, in the 4 days, up $1,700. For Colorado, in the 4 days, up $2,400. In New Jersey, same time frame, up $2,300. But we're going to go off New York because it's been running the longest. And yes, on a $5,000 bankroll, in 4 months, the robot has almost tripled its bankroll in profit. In terms of, you see the total profit here, $13,700. That's just insane. Now, there are a couple lessons to be learned from this. Number one, yes, it's possible. These bets can be tracked. If you go to the link, you can follow it. All bets will be shown as being live once the games start, so you can literally track this in real time. But the thing that I find the most impactful from this is just look at 1 month, right? Look at February. Much more green than red, which is obviously what you want. You want to be up more than you want to be down. But it's not green every day. There are some down days. And that's just the nature of sports betting. Like, look at February 10th. Have no idea what happened on February 10th. But I know that it wasn't fun to be down $2,300. And yes, majority of days were green, but sports are unpredictable. That's just the nature of the beast. If everybody knew what was going to happen in sports, they wouldn't be as exciting. The reason why we love sports is because, yeah, a 16 seed can beat a 1 seed in March Madness. Kentucky as the 2 seed, a title favorite, lost to St. Peter's, the 15 seed. That same St. Peter's went on a huge run. Last year, the Bengals came out of nowhere to go to the Super Bowl. Upsets happen all the time. Sports are, as I said, unpredictable. But in terms of sports betting, variance is a very, very real beast to understand in sports betting. It's very easy to look back on a month and say, oh, you know, these down days sucked, but I was up more than I was down, so it's fine. Yes, having that benefit of hindsight is easy. When you're in the midst of a down streak, it can be very frustrating. It doesn't mean that the bets you're placing are bad. It doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. It just means that you've had a bad stretch of luck. As you can see here, this robot was down $2,300 on February 10th. Another thing that I want to highlight is the amount of bets placed. Sports betting is a volume game. Over the course of this 4 or 5 month span, the robot has placed about 5,000 bets. Volume is key when it comes to sports betting. The more bets that you're able to place with an edge, the better. So if you're watching this and you're deciding whether, let's pretend you have $100 to play with. If you're deciding between 2 bets for $50, 10 bets for $10, or 20 bets for $5, the more bets for less money is better. If you only have, in this case, $5,000 to play with, placing more bets for less money is more optimal than placing less bets for more money. If you have an edge, which you do when you're using OddsJam, volume is key. Like I said, in this case, 5,000 bets to show you what is possible when you're sports betting. Yes, you will have some down days, but you need to understand that's just kind of the nature of the beast. But again, volume is very important when it comes to sports betting. And like I said, if you want to look at other states, just use the link in the description of the video. Just change the NY to whatever state you're looking for, like Virginia's VA, Colorado's CO, New Jersey's NJ, and you can see what the information would look like. And you can literally follow along for your state. It's really cool. In terms of how the robot went about placing bets, I mentioned it was all based on the positive expected value page using the recommended filters. Bets placed at the time of an EV percent of above 2% and above. That's how the bets were placed. Now, if you're watching this video and this is the first time you've seen the positive EV page, I definitely recommend investing in your sports betting education and watching the videos on the OddsJam YouTube channel detailing why positive EV betting is so powerful, which this is a perfect example of why it's so powerful, but going into a little bit more detail about the concept behind positive expected value betting. In this case, the robot, $5,000 bankroll, recommended filters on, EV percent of 2 and above. Now, I'll go over a brief tutorial of positive EV betting. All you need to know for the purposes of this video, everything is derived from these no vig odds here. So when it comes to sports betting, some sportsbooks are better than others at pricing odds. That's kind of the nature of the beast with sports betting. Some are just better than others. And what OddsJam did was backtest thousands and thousands of betting opportunities to determine what sportsbooks are consistently the best. What sportsbooks over the course of time are considered the sharpest, letting data provide that information. So that information was taken. And then what OddsJam did is for current betting opportunities, right, acting on the information we have at hand, removes the VIG, which is the juice that sportsbooks price odds of these sharp sportsbooks, using a weighted average, giving heavier weight towards the sharper books, spitting out the odds that you see right here. And they're in every single positive EV play. You see these odds. So what you really need to know is that these odds are pulled from the sharpest sportsbooks in the world. And you can consider this the true line, the accurate representation of a market. What a market should truly be priced at is pulled into these no vig odds here. So getting better odds than the no vig line is positive expected value. And the positive EV page shows you the book. So this is the actual book that you're placing the bet on, as well as the odds. It tells you the bet itself. We're betting on over 154. I know this is the play because it's bolded and it's got the highlight around it. That is a siren saying, hi, you should bet me. This is the bet that you should be placing. Bet me. And that's what the positive EV page means. So in terms of the percent, the bigger the gap between the no vig odds and the odds of the bet you're placing, the bigger this percent is going to be. And like I said, the robot placed the bet of 2% and above. So if you're watching this, I definitely, like I said, recommend checking out the YouTube channel and investing in your education. Also, start a free trial and try for yourself. Start placing bets on OddsJam using the recommended filters. Understand that variance might hit you. Yes, the robot was green the first couple days of the month. That's not going to happen every single time. If your first day was February 10th, that would have been frustrating. Now, if your first day was Sunday the 5th and you had 5 straight days of profit, that sounds a little bit better. But regardless, doesn't mean that the bets you're placing are bad. Just means that you had bad luck. So like I said, you can follow along with the bot in your state with using the link in the description. Hopefully this video was helpful. If it was, please comment and let me know. Other than that, like I said, please remember to like and subscribe, hit me up on social media, and that's it. So appreciate you guys for watching and have a good one.